Oh, man. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Armchair Armory. It has finished at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. Apologies for the pause. I'm just trying to collect my thoughts and think about what to say here. It sums up where we're at as a club right now. This game. It really does. Just before I came on to record this, I listened to Mark Goldbridge giving his kind of thoughts on the Chelsea game. And he said exactly what I've been thinking probably for about the last 8 years, possibly 5 to 8 years, I'd say. And it seems as if like other Arsenal fans don't really notice this or refuse to accept it, but we are a mediocre team. We've been a mid-table team since 2007, 2008. We've been a mid-table team. Wenger just about kept our heads above water, keeping us in the top four. We got rid of him. We brought in Emery, who still kept us in those European places. We've now got an inexperienced manager in Arteta, who has, even though I actually don't believe this argument, because I hear a lot of people saying, Arteta's finished 8th twice in a row. We forget in the first season that he came in, he was basically taking over from 6 months of the season that had already gone. 4 months of, sorry, not 6 months, 4 months of the season that was with Unai Emery at the helm. Yeah, I don't know. It's gotten to the stage now where I kind of expect to lose against teams like Liverpool and Man City. I go into the game with a fool's hope, as Gandalf from Lord of the Rings would say. But I know that we're going to lose. I think we started off well. Let's go into some of the aspects of the game in a bit of detail. Well, as detailed as I can do anyway. So we started off, and that's the other thing. Our luck just goes from bad to worse. So about 2 hours before kickoff, there was a rumour going around that Ben White had caught COVID and wouldn't be available for today's game. I'm not saying that Ben White is the difference as to why we would have lost. I think we would have lost the game regardless. I think I predicted that we would lose the game. I think I said 2-1 or 3-1 or 1-0. But yeah, anyway. So that was a blow to start off with. Obviously, Lacazette is still recovering from COVID. Aubameyang trained yesterday, I think, and then yesterday as in Saturday, and obviously was on the bench for this game. So the starting lineup for Arsenal in this game was Leno in goal, Cedric at right back, Pablo Mari and Rob Holding at centre back, Tierney at left back, Xhaka and Sambi Lokonga in central midfield. Then we had Samuel Smith-Rowe in the number 10 position. Martinelli was up front. Pepe on the left and Saka on the right. Actually, no, I think that was the other way around. Pepe on the right, Saka on the left. Not a bad lineup, really, to be honest. But I had a feeling, and again, I've said this before, I had a feeling that with, another inexperienced forward up front in Gabriel Martinelli, it would have been exactly the same reaction as what happened when Flo Balogun was up there. We wouldn't be able to get balls into him, and he looked completely isolated throughout the whole game. Thomas Tuchel, as I said in the preview, started Romelu Lukaku, their brand new signing, or re-signing, should I say. And for the first 5-10 minutes, we looked like we were matching them. We looked pretty good, to be honest. We didn't look as out of touch as we did by the end of the game, or out of sorts by the end of the game. But then on that left-hand side, or right-hand side, sorry. On that right-hand side, we were left very, very exposed, and there was a ball that was put into Reece James, who crossed the ball in. Lukaku pulled away from Pablo Mari, probably because Pablo Mari was too tight into him, and just tapped it home 1-0 Chelsea. And then from that moment onwards, we were kind of like, until the end of the first half, we were kind of just limping through, trying to get through. There was another goal shortly after that, 35th minute. The left-hand side was exposed. Reece James bombs down. Cross in from, I think that was from Lukaku, and then Reece James. It was a good finish, actually, to be fair. 2-0. And as I said, for the rest of the game, there was bits here and there that Arsenal did that looked that they could be something, but they were like quarter chances, if anything. There wasn't anything that stood out to me as like, oh, we were so unlucky. There was a penalty shout early part of the second half, which on reflection probably wasn't a penalty. Reece James seemed to look like he had taken down Saka. The referee decided that it wasn't a penalty. It went to VAR. VAR checked it. It wasn't a penalty. And then when I saw the replay, it looked like it wasn't a penalty. It looked like that Saka had just fallen over him, basically. Fallen over Reece James, basically. And then, second half performance was a lot better. It was encouraging, but again, there just wasn't anything in the final third. It was very, very similar. Even though there was a little bit of... I saw people on social media saying that it was toothless and all this kind of stuff. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it was a poor performance. But it wasn't... There was a kind of inkling of fight there. We looked like we were trying in places. But the gulf between Chelsea and Arsenal is massive now, man. It's not like it was in the old days where we've been growing further and further away from them. Aubameyang came on towards the end of the second half. Didn't really do too much, to be honest, but I think the first touch he had a shot on target, which was quite good, I guess. I don't know, like, for me, I just, like I keep saying, I'm going to keep banging on the ceiling about this over and over again, that I don't think saying, like, going on social media and joining the trend of hashtag Arteta out is going to solve anything. Yes, realistically, Arteta probably isn't the right guy. But the club aren't going to sack him because you go on social media and get a hashtag trending. You fans are part of the problem. Because every manager that's come in since Arsene Wenger, you've wanted out. You've pushed out. You've not given them the time. And that's the thing. That's why I tweeted the other day. Arteta's going to be gone by October, possibly earlier. If we lose to West Brom and then lose to Man City, who knows? But he's going to be gone before Christmas. And then we go through this all again. We get really hyped that a new manager's come in. He'll win a few games. And the moment that we lose a significant game, probably against Tottenham, not necessarily Tottenham now at the end of September, but Tottenham when we play them again at the Emirates, and people will start calling for the manager's head. And that's the thing. When are fans going to just lower their expectations? Yes, we're a big club. We are a big club, big fan base, big history. Probably the third biggest club in England. But at the end of the day, we are on a decline. It is a natural thing. At this moment in time, since we left Highbury, we have been on a decline, and we are deep in that decline now. And I just don't understand why fans can't see it. And I don't know whether it's because they want views, they want clicks, they want to get popular online, that kind of thing. Some people, it's their business model, so they kind of have to go along with it. It's just not helpful because, Arteta, regardless, I think even if we brought in Antonio Conte, he wouldn't be able to get anything out of these players. I think it's a number of things. The recruitment is wrong. The ownership is wrong. Some of the players are wrong. Are not good enough to get us to that level. They're all kind of mid-table players, most of them. Even golden boys like Saka and Smith Rowe. They're not. They're good. Don't get me wrong. They're good, but they're not world class yet. You look at Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea, world class player. Yeah, it didn't work out at Man United, but still, like he basically won into the league last season. He's a world-class player. Mason Mount's probably in the same category as Saka and Smith Rowe, to be fair. Maybe little bit ahead of them. Kai Havertz, borderline world-class player. There's so many levels difference between us and Chelsea and us and some of the other top teams in the Premier League. Like, I just think we as a fan base just need to accept it. And I know that there's a lot of fans out there that are like, we shouldn't be accepting mediocrity. And it's like, yeah, I know. We shouldn't. But that's just what it is. That's just the way of things at the end of the day. Unfortunately, that is where we are right now. And it's going to take years and years before we get back to challenging for the top four, let alone even dreaming of thinking of challenging for a title. And that's the thing. As Goldbridge made a really good point in that video. He said, the next manager that comes in needs to say that the fans are part of the problem, that the fans need to give me time. The fans are some of not all of them, some fans are toxic in this fan base. Arsenal fans have the most toxic fan base in the Premier League, in my opinion. Because as soon as you make one mistake, regardless of if you're a player, if you're a manager, anything to do with Arsenal, it's almost like we are cancel culture FC. Like, literally, as soon as anything happens, it's like,
oh, get rid of them. They're not good enough. Get rid of them.
And that's the thing. It's this kind of pompous mentality that we've been left with from when we won the league unbeaten in 2004, that we should always be winning the league unbeaten. And no, we're literally going through what Liverpool was going through in the mid-2000s, 2010s. That's what we're going through right now. And unfortunately, you just have to ride the wave. It's depressing. It was really, really depressing and boring at stages watching the game today. But you just have to ride the storm. That's what you have to do. You have to ride the storm. But as I said, I know what's going to happen. Fan pressure is going to... There was boos at half-time and boos at full-time. I won't go as far as to say that it was like... Some people on Twitter were saying heavy boos. It wasn't heavy boos. It lasted about 2 seconds. But the one thing I will say is that, yeah, like, Arteta's going to be gone. Like, we probably will beat West Brom on Wednesday. We'll lose to City, come back after the international break, probably drop points to Norwich, and Arteta will be gone before the Tottenham game. If not, Tottenham will be the game where he'll be gone. And then we'll just do this all over again. And hopefully the next manager that comes in, they'll realise that it isn't just the manager's not good enough. It's an easy target. That's the thing. It's an easy target. It's even worse now with Arteta because he's inexperienced. So it's an even easier target. It's like,
oh, well, he's inexperienced. Get rid of him.
And he is. But at the end of the day, like, if you want him to come good, he needs to have time. And he's just not going to get that. So that's why I said last season his days are numbered. Because I think that night against Villarreal at the Emirates was the turning point. That's where all of Arsenal Twitter and the majority of Arsenal fans decided Arteta out, and that's what's probably going to happen now. So the fans are to blame just as much as everything else that is going on, particularly since about 2016, 2017, I'd say. They have more power than they think they have. In fact, they underestimate the power that they have in some cases. I still think that the club don't sack managers until they want to, until they feel it doesn't benefit them anymore. But anyway, as I say, it wasn't a great performance. Second half was a little bit improved, but not that much improved. It was inevitable. It was inevitable that Chelsea were going to beat us. It was inevitable that Lukaku was going to score. It was inevitable that we were going to lose. So at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. It just pisses me off. It just the reactionary fan base is what pisses me off more than anything. As if like they were ending off for like 48 hours before the game and completely forget what they'd said a day before or something like that. And then they're like, when we lose, it's like, oh shit, shout, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I could sit here all day and complain, but I'm not going to. I've rambled for 15 minutes now. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I'll be back with the preview for the West Brom game, possibly a review. Let's see how it goes. And then, obviously, I'll be doing the preview for the City game at some point towards the end of the week. And I'll be back again soon with other content. So please give a like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you again soon. Until then, take care and stay safe.
Bye.